Hi, I'm Gilberto Pinela, and this is En Breve, a brief presentation on news, interviews, and events about the Hispanic community in the St. Louis region. Let's get right to it. We'd start with a big thank you note and congratulations to Mr. Jaime Torres, who served in many capacities on the boards of the Hispanic Leaders Group, the Puerto Rican Society, the Hispanic Educational and Scholarship Fund, and many others. Mr. Torres and his family will be moving from St. Louis to Florida, and in honor of his retirement, the Hispanic Leaders Group honor him with a grand celebration at a local banquet hall. Over 250 people attended. County Executive Steve Stinger was on hand to offer a proclamation in honor of Mr. Torres, and the evening ended with some Latin dancing and music by Son Montuno. We want to wish Mr. Torres a safe journey and many more years of relaxation, drinking piña coladas in sunny Orlando, Florida. When we come back, we check out the trailer for Show Me Democracy, and we talk with director Dan Parris about his latest documentary.
With the sound of the gavel, lawmakers started the 98th General Assembly.
We'll be faced with many difficult challenges, but none will be more important than addressing Ferguson and its aftermath.
Ferguson has brought up the issue again, that we are not where we need to be.
There's a disconnect. I don't see the politicians really engaged in the community. If all you're doing is just being a product of your environment, how can you represent me?
We look at what's happening in Ferguson. We see individuals without opportunity to continue their education.
If you're failing someone in education, you're sort of failing them in life.
Helping this low-income first-generation student graduate, it doesn't just benefit the individual, it benefits society as well.
While you're working in this internship, you are going to be exposed to public officials, draft commentary that will get published. I'd like you to write down policies that have affected you.
An ongoing debate in Missouri: should illegal immigrant students be allowed to get college scholarships?
My winning moment would be when DACA students have the opportunity to pay in-state tuition rates here in Missouri.
Missouri continues to underinvest in need-based aid.
We're saying if you are here, we want you to be an educated person in our workforce.
We're the people who these policies affect. I might not be able to make it to college this year if this gets cut.
This is going to be a hot topic.
As soon as I deserve the chance to go to school,
I'm expecting a fight about this.
Students are actually advocating on behalf of students.
Education is key. That's something no one can take away from you.
I'm sick of people talking about giving youth voice. You have voice. It's engagement and opportunity and action.
They're not young, they're movement aged. There's been a social movement in Missouri that student activists are at the forefront of.
Welcome back to En Breve. I'm here with cinematographer, producer, director, and human rights advocate, Dan Parris, whose documentary you just saw a small trailer from. Dan, thank you for coming to En Breve.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Yeah, and let's get right into it. Let's talk about the experience with the documentary. What was your inspiration first and foremost? And then let's jump into the Latino component, which is why you're here tonight.
Exactly, yeah. So it did start out with a curiosity around the Ferguson uprising and what was happening in our city. And 2 months after Michael Brown was killed, a young man named Von Derek Meyer was killed just blocks from my house, and literally heard the gunshots in our home. And the next night, protesters came by our front door saying, out of your home into the streets, out of your home into the streets. And to me, it was a call saying, hey, you can't just sit back and not be involved and engage with this. And how I usually get involved in issues that affect me, I pull out my camera and I start filming. And so I just started documenting. And as I went on this journey, I just stumbled across a program called the Active Advocacy Program, where they were training young people to do advocacy and policy work for other young people.
Okay.
And one of the main topics they were focused on was DACA. And I had never heard of DACA. Like, they had to explain everything to me. They had to break down what every different letter stood for. And as I started to learn more about this issue, it really started to hit my heart, break my heart. And I met Karina, who's featured in the film, and I got to meet her family and hear their journey of coming to the States. And
tell that story about meeting the family and going to their home and trying the food. I mean, did it change your mind about the Hispanic migrant?
Well, I grew up next to Hispanic migrants, and my friends, they would always get Flamin' Hot Cheetos and lime sauce, and that was like our thing, and like introduced me to all these different great snacks. So I had tamales before, but I never had tamales quite like this.
Oh.
I mean, it was just stacks and stacks of tamales, and they had like chocolate tamales and vanilla tamales where it was like candy inside of it, and you unwrapped it or whatever. I don't know if those are called tamales, but what was cool is we met Karina's grandma as she came from Mexico to visit as a resident. And both of Karina's mom and her aunt meet their grandma, their mother, at the airport. And what's cool is that Karina's mom became a citizen just recently, and then her aunt like 10 years earlier. And so here are these people who've came to the U.S. and in many ways came for education, and they're welcoming in their grandma who is a resident, and is coming to visit. And so then we all go back to their house. We have a big feast. They give us Christmas presents. We hung out for hours, and while there, and you'll see a scene in the film, we learn a lot about what is that experience coming into America and being undocumented and what that feels like. And it became so much more personal to us having friends who either had experienced this in the past or knew people who had experienced it.
And I know that we're going to talk to Karina, but you immediately fell in love with her charisma and all the stuff that she's done at a young age already at Fonbon University. I mean, tell me more about interacting with Karina and learning more about her culture.
Well, what you want as a filmmaker is someone who's very open and honest and knowledgeable. And I just set up one meeting with Karina at Fonbon, and she just unloaded and told me all about her life. She was very open, very personable, very easy to talk to. And I realized very quickly that she's going to really stand out in this film because she's opening up her life, and she's showing that because she saw the importance of, by telling her story, she is able to impact other people and educate people. And I just saw that leadership in her, and obviously Fonbon saw it because you'll see in the film she wins like the top award as she graduates, and now she's out there impacting other students through the work she's doing.
So DACA, what's your take after filming and being with the family? What's your take, your personal take? Or if you think what you would do as a cinematographer to even enhance the awareness of what's happening with the migrant and the immigrant community here in St. Louis.
Well, I really hope Show Me Democracy is, for some people, like it was an entry-level point for me, is an entry to this topic of DACA, where they can kind of touch the surface. And so we want to show this film as much as we can in different communities. So we're hoping to do a community with the Latinx community in the fall at the Missouri History Museum. But we're open to other screenings, and we'd love to have panels where we discuss this. We bring in experts like Areli, like Karina, like other experts to talk about these topics way more in depth than I can. I can film those events, But I would say I was definitely moved by the fact that just the unfairness of taking away DACA. Saying to people, all right, we're going to give you this chance, you're going to go to college, you're going to meet all these requirements, you're going to pay all this money, and then you're going to get to go to school, and then a new president comes in, he's like, nah. Even though your whole family has fought for you to have this quality education, they've gone through who knows how many struggles so you could have that, and then we're just going to take it away. And that's not fair, that's not right, and I don't think that's what America's about.
And this is a nation of immigrants anyways, so...
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for doing the
having
film.
Me. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And Show Me Democracy. I know that you can see it via the website at showmedemocracy.com. And when we come back, we talk with Karina Arango and Areli, Munoz Reyes.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Welcome back to En Breve. I'm here with Karina Arango, who was featured in Show Me Democracy, the documentary, and also Areli Munoz Reyes, who is a DACA recipient and an activist. And welcome to En Breve.
Thank you.
Bueno, and I want to start immediately and see, I'm going back in Spanish and English. So if I get into the Spanglish thing, forgive me.
Oh, we're with it.
Okay, you got it.
We get it.
You got it going on. But let's start with you, Karina. Let's talk about the film. How has Show Me Democracy impacted your life? Why you get involved? And Dan was talking about the experience with your family. How did they feel having him come to their home?
So, Show Me Democracy is such a great snapshot of young people being involved, and especially here in St. Louis. And we're talking about folks who are Black, brown, undocumented, folks that have a lot of struggle but are so brave to do something about it. And that's what the film's about. And so for me, I was just lucky enough to be part of that, and I was at the right place at the right time. I was at a meeting with the internship program with the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis, and there was a white guy with a camera and said, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "I'm Karina, and I go to Fonfon." So, but in that journey, right, and being involved, it takes a lot of vulnerability.
Yes.
To really open up about things, especially for me, for my mom, telling her story. And I always tell it, my mom in 1989, she's one of the I like to say, recent immigrants. She came from a small town called Valdeflores in Oaxaca, Mexico, and in the middle of the night, she found a tire and floated across the Rio Grande, and here she is.
Wow.
And, as an immigrant who literally crossed a border, right, that is significant. And so my mom has told this story, and I tell it many, many times. And it's only one story, right? But it's important to talk about these stories as exposed as I may feel sometimes, yes. Talking about my family. I've had family members who have been, suffered from police brutality, or folks who have been deported, but also have folks who have come here and have really continued, to make things possible for their family, to get an education, to get a job. And the film really does an amazing job of telling stories of young folks, and then really, Dan did a really amazing job looking my family look really cool.
Well, your family looks very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, but being a part of the film was such an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Comes with vulnerability, also comes with a lot of, I think, sometimes a lot of pressure, I think, as a first generation college student.
And you went very far because you graduated from Fonbon and got hooded, first one in your class. I mean, over 200 people. So tell me about that. And of course, more about the documentary and that experience.
Yeah, so the documentary followed me as a junior into my senior year at Fonbon University. And at the end, and throughout the film, you'll see that I kind of take the initiative along with the Scholarship Foundation and being in the internship to really talk about DACA. A couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, folks in especially Missouri did not talk about DACA.
No. Because we don't have any Latinos or Latinx people here.
That is the assumption, but I mean, we're here.
We're here.
We're here, and we're very proud, right? So the film really gives a great platform for a conversation starter about overall immigration rights and reform, but really specifically talking about a population of young people who came into this country, right? Whether it was a decision made by them or a decision by their family, but who are looking forward to really want to contribute to our country, right? And get an education, get in a job. And so no one was talking about DACA when I was in college. Not talking about it at school, not talking about it in St. Louis, not talking about it at the cafe, whatever.
So you just pushed that door open.
Yes, it was very uncomfortable for me, honestly. And I try to be transparent with folks that I'm not undocumented. I'm a citizen, and that's by luck. It was just by chance.
Wow. Well, And then you open up the door for somebody to, with the documentary, for Areli to be discovered. Right. Because you've been out there already advocating and working and doing a lot of different things as a DACA recipient to promote equality for people that do not have it, right? So tell me about that story. Tell me about your story a little bit, and how did you come to the realization that you needed to be an activist?
Right. So my parents brought me here when I was 8 years old. Grew up here ever since. So went through K through 12 and graduated. Now I'm enrolled in community college. But during that transition, my senior year, I was told that I couldn't attend, higher education because I was undocumented. Luckily, President Obama gave DACA, which gave me a social security number, and then it also gave me a driver's license here in Missouri. So with that social security number, I was able to enroll in college. But my second barrier was that undocumented students and DACA students are being charged triple tuition. Triple tuition? Right. And so I'm paying $300 for a class that somebody that was born here is paying $100. So all these barriers have undocumented students drop out. I was lucky enough to find the Scholarship Foundation and apply to a private scholarship. And I was then, at that moment, I was like, I need to do something right now just for me, but I know there's other students out there that are also in my same position as I was. So I was a scholarship, I started working with the Scholarship Foundation, and I did an education policy intern with them, and I started talking more about DACA because a lot of people, like Karina said, didn't know nothing about it. So I talked with my family because it's, if I'm putting myself out there, I'm also putting them out there at risk, so it was something hard for me to do, but somebody had to do it.
So let me ask you this, because we're going to have to continue this conversation later. We're running out of time, unfortunately. What is the biggest misconception that people have of DACA recipients at this point in time and undocumented individuals that are here in Missouri? So let's start with you.
So one of the biggest one is not paying taxes. So we do pay taxes because we got a social security number, and our parents are also paying taxes because they have an IT number. So we are contributing to our community and paying taxes, but we don't receive any financial help or anything.
Huh. And Karina, what would be your pet peeve? What is the biggest misconception or misperception?
I think, and this talks about in the film, but specifically in Missouri, there's an assumption that students who have DACA and undocumented students go to school for free or go for a low price. But actually, in the state of Missouri, undocumented folks and those with DACA do not receive any financial aid at the state level and federal level. And there's also a law in Missouri where, as Areli mentioned, that DACA students and undocumented students are charged the international wage, which is as far as triple the rate. With no financial aid.
And all we want to do is contribute to this country.
Right.
And
get a degree, put it to work.
Put it to work and give back what we can get out. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your bravery, because you're very brave in going out there and advocating for undocumented migrants that are here that want to get educated and get equality in tuition. And thank you, Karina, for being such an advocate, and keep pushing, because the door is open, the wall is broken, and we're going to just get rid of it. Okay?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you. And in the meantime, stay tuned to STL TV, and I'll see you until next time. This is Gilberto Pinela with En Breve.